Hi everyone! In this tutorial we are going to learn how we can render our particle and line animations with Mantra. This tutorial was requested by some of my patrons. As you may know, I come from Cinema 4D and Redshift, and that's why I render all my animations with Redshift, and I have never explored Mantra, but I've decided to take a few hours to understand a little bit better this Houdini's render engine and how it works, so I can help you out and explain how to use Mantra and some of its options. This is just a beginner tutorial to get you started. As the focus of this tutorial is Mantra, I'm going to speed up the creation of this PopNet system. If you want to see only the render stuff, jump 5 minutes ahead. I hope you enjoy this video. Okay, so we have this animation with particles and lines. Rendering the particles and lines with Mantra are really easy. Let me turn off the trails for now. Let's go with the particles one. I split into two nodes, the particles and then the trails, so we can work these differently. Okay. Let me delete this point fob and that point triangle, so I'll do everything from the start. So we have our particle animation with points, okay. And let's give them some colors. So let's go to point fob. Okay, and let's go inside. And let me think, let's use the age. Like color over life. Okay, so we have these two parameters, this age and life. The age is the age of the particle, and life is the maximum age that life can have before it gets deleted. Okay, so let's put a fit. So for the value we want the age that goes from 0 and max age. Max age is life, right? And we want to convert that to 0 and 1 so we can link to a ramp. Okay, let's call it color over life. Okay, Control C, Control V. Okay, and we want that to CD to color. You can see something going on here. So when they get born, when they are born, we have here black. Let's change this something like dark blue. Let's put a dark blue. In the middle, I want something like a cyan. Maybe next go to yellow, and then I think that's cool. That's cool. So this is one way to color our particles. Now let's give them a size, a p-scale, right? Because we need that parameter. We covered that in previous tutorials. Basically on the very first one we covered the p-scale. So we need a way to give scale to our points. So when we render and instantiate spheres into our particles, we know the exact scale. So let's give, I'm going to create another point fob for the scale. So let's use point fob, and this will go for the scale. Okay, I'm going to do this in different VOPs so it will be easier to understand. So we know we want to create p-scale. Let's put a bind export p-scale that is a float, and we want to give some parameters here, some value, output some values. So let's use the same as we have. Oops, let's write parameter. Okay, let's p-scale base. This is the default value of our p-scale. Okay, let's put default 0.01, something like that. And I want the scale to change over life. So same as we did on colors. The value is age, maximum, the source maximum is life. It's going to be different. We want to output 0 and 1, so we can link a ramp. In this case, we want a ramp for scale over life. Okay. And instead of using colors, we are going to use a spline ramp. So we have a ramp that has values between 0 and 1, and we want to multiply our base p-scale for that ramp. Okay, let's go up. So right now our ramp is all 0. Let's change this to cat move, this to cat move, and I want the start to be not full. Let's start, sorry, 0, then going up at 1%, maybe 2, maybe 5, 0.05, then start going down during life. Okay, so at the start it will be 0, then it's going to increase to the maximum size. In our case it's 0.01, and then start decreasing over time until they die. Okay, so we have this scale, our points. How can we render this? Let's go up, and instead of seeing on the object network, let's go to the out network. I have a mantra node already. I'm going to delete. Press tab and write mantra. Okay. So here we have a bunch of options. I'm not going to cover every single one because I want this to be a really beginner, just a way that you understand to create and how to export and render your particles, animations, and lines. So one cool thing to do is, instead of using this pixel filter, let's change it to softer 3x3. Okay, just change this to 3. Okay. On rendering, instead of using ray tracing on these type of animations, I like to use micro polygon rendering because it's faster. And if you are getting a lot of noise on your animation, increase the pixel sample. I'm going to use for now 5x5. Don't increase this like crazy to 50x50 because this will increase a lot your rendering time. Okay, something like that. And let's go to the render tab here, and let's press render. Of course, you need a camera. Okay, I already have a camera. If I go here, I already have a camera. Okay, and 2 lights. Let's see how this works. Let me delete this. Let me just clean my materials so I don't have anything here. Okay, so this is our particles out of the box. Okay, without any material or anything. So as you see, when they get birth, when they are born, they are higher on p scale, and while they are moving and getting more age, they decrease size. Right now, I think the base scale is way too big. Let's decrease this to 0.005. That is cooler. Of course, if you want, you can increase it too. Okay. As you can see, if I want, I can change this. Sometimes it gives us an error, but don't mind. Pretty cool, right? And of course, on this VOP, I'm controlling the color. So right now, if I change this yellow to red, you'll see that this yellow part will change to red. Pretty damn cool, right? Maybe I want some more, something like that. That is cool. Okay. So if you want, be careful with this. It's better to always stop when you go back to scene view. If you want, we can add materials to our particles. That way we were using a normal material. But if you want to change like the brightness or something like that, go to matte, press tab. I normally use principled shader. Principled shader. Okay, let's change this to particles. This material is already prepared to use what we created, like colors and p-scales and everything. P-scale is not a material, but okay. There are other attributes that we can create, like for example on opacity. I know there is opacity. Okay, here we can use point alpha. If we leave our mouse over that use point alpha, we can see that the parameter says opaque point alpha, so we can create that parameter and use it to control our opacity. Okay, I'm going to show you what we can do. And right now, as you can see, we are using point color. If let me go to render, okay. If I uncheck this and give our points, go to object again, let's render material, pick up our particles, okay. Let's go to materials. Right now it should render everything on this color. Okay, if you want that we did on point FOP, I think we can do here by using binds. Like we can bind, import our age attribute, right? Import our life. Let me see if we can get a ramp, yeah, and we can get a fit. These materials work like VOPs, okay, so it's the same. Okay, so we use here, source max, the ramp, and then the ramp to base color. So this way we are going to use the same logic, same knowledge that we did on the point FOP, but now we are doing inside this material palette. Okay, as you can see, it is working. So you can see a little bit better. This is one way to give colors, but as you see, we have to bind, import every single parameter that we need. The other way, we have already that, okay, with point FOPs. So on particles, I like to use point color, because that way we can see the colors on the viewport if we use point FOPs, okay. Delete this. I'm going to cut because you can get this project on your how you say, on Patreon. Sorry. Why is that? Why am I not using the point color? Let's refresh. So right now I'm getting something really weird. Should be using our point color. Let's go to materials. Maybe I should delete that. No, it is doing something wrong. Okay, I need that to be on white. I delete that. Okay, so going Control Z, put this on white. So okay, back to the start. We are using point color, and we are using the color of our points to colorize our material. Okay, this way you can control a lot of parameters this material have, like brightness, reflection, transparency, subsurface scattering, emission. One way to control emission, if you want, let me turn off our albedo. I think this way, yeah. Okay, so we have everything white. So how do we use our point colors on our emission? This is easy. Again, just bind import our colors, okay, that are float vector. I don't know if you have color. Okay, color, and let's wire this into emit color. This way we are using the point color to use on the emission color. This way our points are emitting light with that color that we are using, okay, with point color. As I said, we can use opacity in our material, okay. We have this opaque point alpha, so let's use that on our VOP. I'm going to use the color VOP because this is color, right? So I'm going to create another ramp here. Let's call it opacity over life. Let's wire this in, and then let's bind export this alpha. So it was opaque, opaque point alpha, right? Let me check that out. And right now we can control our alpha. So let's put this really. So they have to render now with some alpha, with some opacity, right? I think I've created the right name. Let me check again. While this render opaque point alpha. Okay. And instead of using emission, I want to use the albedo. So something is bugging now. As you can see, Mantra has a lot of bugs when I switch between emissions and albedos. Okay, let's go back and let's import the CD to our base color just to force our material to use this color parameter. Okay, come on. Okay, right now my opacity is not working. Let me see if I force it to have less opacity. Let's see how this works. Let me even use it really low. Okay, my computer is taking too long to process this, but that's one way to add opacity to our particles. Okay, so we covered how to render particles. Now let's see how we can render trails. Okay, so on trails, it's the same thing. Let's copy paste this to VOPs. Okay. Let me, okay. So we are coloring over life, same as we did on particles. As you can see on viewport, we already have colors. Okay, and on p-scale. We are going to use another thing. Instead of using p-scale over life, if we have a resample node, we can turn on curve U. What this does is, let me open Photoshop so we can I can draw what I'm going to explain. But right now, if I press render, you will see our lines. Because lines and particles are really easy to render with Mantra, they already create everything for you. So I'm going to turn off this alpha. Okay. So we have our lines here. Right now I'm getting some error that I'm not seeing my particles. Okay, now we have everything. So let me create new project. Okay, so on lines we have our, let me turn off the render. Pretty cool, huh? So on our resample, we have our curve view. That works if we have a line. This parameter will give us the length of the line between 0 and 1. So we can control like the size of our line between 0 and 1. What I'm saying is that we can use that value to control the length of our trails. Let me go here and scale. Let's delete this one. Okay. So instead of using age and life, let's use our curve view. Curve view. And we know that this value goes from 0 to 1, depending the length of the... Always go from 0 to 1 to get the length of our spline. So if we get the value 0.5, we know that we are at the middle of that spline. Okay. So let's wire that curve view to our ramp, our scale over curve view. Okay. Let's change the names so we don't get confused. Okay. So right now, if let me turn on this render. I'm going to turn off the particle so we can render a little bit faster. Let me go to the start. And I'm going to increase the size of this. So you can see that we are starting the splines really small on thickness and then increasing during the length. We can do something like this. Now our start and finish of the length of our spines are smaller. So this way you can control the thickness of our splines without that big math. Okay, just use a resample with curve view attribute, and this way we can control the length, and we can control the color too. Instead of using this fit, let's use the curve view. Okay, let's use curve view. Okay, going to copy paste. So want this one color over curve view. Okay, so this way we can control our colors using the length of our spline. Use like that. See that we on the start we have this dark blue, then on the middle we have yellow, and at the end we have that white, that cyan color. Okay, let me decrease this because it's way too big. Even lower. Okay, now we have pretty cool lines. I'm going to change the colors. More cyan. But I want this more blue. Okay, same things go for the materials. Same we just learned on particles, we can apply to our trails. Okay, so if we go here and apply the render material, okay, just the same. And this is really easy to use and render points and lines on Mantra. Let me turn on everything, and you'll see that's our animation using only particles and rendering with Mantra. Now you know the very basic stuff of Mantra, and now you can render your particle and lines animation using this render engine. There is no need to export your simulations and render outside of Houdini. This tutorial was requested by my patrons, and if you want you can request tutorials too by supporting us on Patreon. If you like this video and any other content we have created, check out our Patreon page. With your support we can keep doing these tutorials to help the community. Your support and feedback are very important to us. Okay, let's finish up this video. Hope you enjoyed this beginner Mantra tutorial. Have a nice day and see you on the next tutorial.